Transurfers and the Transurfing Curious, and welcome to my video, Blasting Out of an Induced Transition. This is going to be a step-by-step video telling you guys that are having an induced transition right now or have fallen into an induced transition, how to blast out of it and maybe blast yourself right into the wave of success. So this is what's happened for me. I started to induce, right around the time that this whole virus thing kicked off. I got super sick. I was in the house, I was watching the news, and sure enough, my layer of reality started looking like shit. So I decided that I was going to reverse out of it, and I was going to really dive into the concepts radically. Like I was going to go as radical as I could on it, as fast as I could, and as hard as I could. And I didn't know this at the time, and this is the first time this has happened for me, but I actually went directly from an induced transition into the wave of fortune, and it has been absolutely unreal. So I am going to give you guys kind of a step-by-step breakdown of what it is that I did and how I did it exactly, and then what happened as a product of me doing these things. So first of all, I'm giving this video because a lot of people have been messaging me, freaking out, even advanced transurfers, losing their minds, not knowing how to deal with reality, not understanding what's going on, going into an induced transition. And now more than ever, it is time to utilize and embrace these concepts. And I'm telling y'all, it works. I did it. This is the first time it's ever happened for me in my entire 5 years of transurfing, going with such intensity out of an induced transition right into the wave of success. But I feel now that I've sort of cracked the code and I know exactly what to do. So I'm going to share it with you guys now. So first off, you have to acknowledge that you are in an induced transition, or your layer of reality is not the best that it could be. Once you do this, you can then set your intentions, but without acknowledging that you have started to latch on to negative information, that your thought quality has gone down, that you maybe aren't taking action in the same way that you were prior to all this happening, then you're not going to really be able to get far. You first have to acknowledge, hey, I'm inducing and I'm going to blast out of this induced transition. Second, you have to set the intention to go absolutely radical. And when I mean radical, I mean radical. I'm going to give you a few other steps later on in the video, but first you have to set the intention that your actions and your thought quality is going to change radically, and you are going to really dive into these concepts, no holds barred, right? Like you are going to 100%, 0 to 100. So the first thing that I did is I started carrying my book around with me. The big book, the big steps 1 through 5. My house isn't a huge house, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But if I was in the kitchen, my book was on the counter. If I was in my office, book was on my desk. If I was on the couch, book was on the couch with me. And anytime I started to feel like my thoughts would go to bad stuff, worrying about finances, worrying about my family, worrying about the state of affairs, having a draw to turn on the news. Anytime my thoughts or anything that was going on with where my thoughts were going, I would simply open the book and read a single paragraph. I wouldn't have to read it very long. I would just open the book, and it was kind of like breaking that pattern, right? Breaking that spell. Now, I only did this for one day because I'm going to tell you guys, I went from an induced transition, almost full blown, to the wave of success in less than 48 hours. I'm going to say it was probably about 36 hours, a day and a half. So carry the book around, and if you start to notice your thoughts going in any negative direction, open the book and read a chapter. It doesn't matter what page, it doesn't matter what you read, you're just breaking that pattern. You are going to throw out anything negative and you are going to fill it with positive. So no more news, no more talking with friends in a negative manner about, oh, this sucks, or what are we gonna do, what am I gonna do, or anything like that. If you have family members that are calling you and being negative, you're gonna stop engaging with them in a negative way. Stop engaging with friends, any Facebook groups, websites, anything online that you're looking at, gone. Like, you are just not going to participate anymore. Again, this is radical, right? We are going to really, really hit this head on. So then you are going to fill it with positive. So write down a list of things you can go to that are positive. Go to the International Transurfing Institute Facebook group. Go to YouTube and watch some positive videos. Talk with a positive friend. Talk with another positive transurfer. You are literally going to get rid of everything bad that you can pinpoint and focus on everything good and fill all that negative space with positive energy now. Okay, you are going to do this systematically, habitually, and methodically. And I'll tell you what, I only had to do it for about 24 hours before I started seeing results. 24 hours, I was out of the induced transition. My reality all of a sudden started looking brighter. Things were looking up. The sun was shining. I was like back to my old self. My layer of reality was looking beautiful again. And then shortly after that, I hit a wave of success like I have never experienced in my life. It came like a flood. But to get up to that point, I had to systematically, habitually, and methodically follow all those steps that I just gave. Also, these were my 3 modes of being. I only did these 3 things. Again, I know this sounds radical, but it worked for me, and I think that it can work for you too. So my 3 modes of being were action mode, center screen mode, and self-love, self-care mode. That was my commitment that I made to myself. I am not going to do anything unless it is taking action, existing in my center screen, or self-care, self-love. So all the bullshit TV was gone, right? All the bullshit TV was gone. Looking at CNN online, gone. Talking with anybody in a negative way, interacting with anyone in a negative way, gone. If anyone came to me and was saying, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I would just pump the situation full of positivity. I was just constantly like output, positive, 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 positive. I would center screen. The other day I was in the center screen for 8 hours. I made a bunch of videos. I did a bunch of transurfing stuff. I wrote a bunch of things. I worked on my new membership website. I was just going nuts in the center screen. After that, immediately into self-care mode, self-love mode. I was taking baths, doing face masks, treating myself nice. I was really, really, really pampering myself. So again, those 3 modes only: action mode, center screen mode, and self-care and self-love mode. So once I hit that wave, I knew I was onto something. And then I just continued. I did not relax on it. I did not let myself fall back. I did not take the wave for granted. And now it's probably been, I would say, close to 10 days that I've had the wave of success. I've had sales in my jewelry business, good ones with big profits, even though everyone's complaining of an economic collapse. I'm so, so, so happy. I've had tons of people reaching out to me for all sorts of cool transurfing stuff. I booked a massive podcast with someone that has like millions of followers, and I get to be on their podcast, and it's going to be so good for transurfing. Vadim Zeland declared me as partner. Oh my God, it just keeps getting better and better and better. I didn't even find that information. Somebody else showed it to me on his website, and I was so happy. I sold a bunch of courses. I got on the scale and I was 3 pounds lighter. Like, it just keeps going, right? So again, I'm just gonna wrap this up super quick, and then I want you guys to try it if you're struggling, if you have induced, if you've been in an induced transition, if things aren't going in the direction that you want them to go. It's up to you. You can do this. This is absolutely going to work if you believe that it will, and you take systematic, habitual, and methodical practice towards the wave of success. Okay, so first, acknowledge that you are in an induced transition, okay? Then set the radical intention to blast out of it straight into the wave of fortune. Throw out everything negative and fill it with positive, systematic, habitual, and methodical practice. Self-care, self-love mode, center screen mode, action mode, only, nothing else, nothing else. This is going to be the only way that you spend your time. This is it. Either you're self-caring, you're taking action, or you're remaining in your center screen. So I am curious to know what you guys think about this. Try it. Let me know your thoughts. Let's make a thread on the International Transurfing Institute Facebook group talking about this, and let's see who can blast out of an induced transition straight into the wave of fortune. You guys can do it, but you gotta make the commitment to do it. Go radical, y'all. Thanks so much for watching my video, and good luck. Ask me questions. I am more than happy to answer. Bye, guys.